Welcome back. 8:39 is your time. You found the perfect apartment or rental house, but there's just one serious problem. The landlord, that guy's an obnoxious jerk. So should you skip this place and keep looking, or swallow your pride and hope for the best? Here with some guidelines, he is real estate expert John Adams, who's also a landlord, but not an obnoxious jerk.
I hope not.
We've all heard the horror stories, John. First of all, welcome to you. Is there a secret, though, to finding a good landlord?
Buck, there is. And in fact, I think there are 5 of them. And the more you know about those 5 secrets, the better your rental experience is going to be. So why don't we do a countdown?
Let's go down the list. We'll go with number 5, reputation.
I think this is so important because the landlord has to establish some reputation in the community, or at least among his residents. If you're looking at an apartment building, this is pretty easy to do because you can just talk to the other residents and find out what they think about this person. If he is universally hated, that is not a good sign. Whereas if the person seems reasonable and businesslike and able to work with him, I'm not sure the relationship between a landlord and tenant is ever going to be close personal friends.
Sure.
But is it business-like? And if somebody has a good reputation for that, that's a good sign.
I'm sure tenants are happy to talk if they don't.
Indeed,
right?
They are.
How about tenant retention, number 4?
This is so important because a smart landlord wants the tenant to stay almost indefinitely. Turnover is a huge expenditure, and those landlords that really don't provide much in the way of service or really work with their tenants find that they experience a higher level of turnover than landlords who do take care of their tenants. And I think a good tenant is like an asset, something to be cultivated and kept as long as you possibly can. So tenant retention, how long, what is the average resident, how long do they stay? And if it's several years, that's a good sign.
You mentioned the relationship is business-like, and that kind of leads right into this next one, I think, professionalism. Professionalism,
I think, is so important because being a landlord, Buck, has really evolved in the last 20 or 25 years. We had so many mom-and-pop landlords, particularly in Atlanta, where people would have 1, maybe 2 rental houses, and they would sort of rent it just by the seat of their pants and really weren't following a lot of rules and regulations. Today, we live in a very litigious society, and if you're not up on all the rules and regulations, you can get in trouble. And that's where professionalism comes in. Is this person a licensee of the Georgia Real Estate Commission? If they are, that's a good sign because real estate agents and brokers are held to a higher standard than average members of the public. Likewise, are they members of the realtors or the realtists? Those people have signed documents indicating that they're going to continue their education and they're committed to fair and honest business dealings. I think that's a plus.
Flexibility, not a trait I've found in many of the landlords I've had through
No, and you need to be aware that your landlord is going to expect you to pay the rent on time. That should go without saying. However, if you get the impression that this individual has absolutely no authority to be flexible under any circumstance, that's a tough situation. You want someone that is adaptable to circumstances, recognizes that there may be times where a day or 2 flexibility can make a huge amount of difference. So we're looking for a little flexibility there if we can get it.
All right, we're almost out of time, but number 1, consumer focus, and kind of hit us with the bottom line here.
Real quick, I think, do you have here a landlord who understands that the tenant is right and wants to resolve the situation amicably in any situation? The more you search for these things, the happier you're going to be in the long run.
All right, good advice as always, John. And John Adams will be answering your real estate questions for the next hour on Facebook, so you might want to check that out. Coming up on Good Day Atlanta, time is running out to donate to Toys for Tots. Paul.